It's the beast. Case is a Thermaltake Core X9 loaded with fans. It's really not that loud. I have 22, 23 fans in here, something like that. CPU and GPU are on their own loop due to temperature reasons. It stays cooler. RADS stock 200mm fans still in and running. Right now I have ambient temps. I just shoot the walls to check ambient temps. Can also shoot the front of the case. That's the air going through the front. Air conditioner's right there. It's pretty cool coming out. Fan labels are not correct on my sensor panel. I haven't changed them yet. Here's the voltages I run. Temperatures, core temps, average of all 8 cores, socket temp, motherboard temp, GPU idle temps. I do not recommend a reservoir this small. As you can see, well, you really can't see. I got fluid coming up into these tubes. The air bubbles will come in and get pushed out these tubes. The reason I got them both hooked up is to bleed more air faster. This reservoir is too small to leave an air pocket in. If you leave the air pocket in, it creates like a little tornado of air, and it'll suck air and water through it. Even with the sponge in it, it had a hard time sucking straight water or fluid. In my computer right now is just a mix of water and this humidifier bacteriostatic algae and odor treatment. I don't really need odor, but it keeps anything from growing if you mix it correctly. I get a lot of shit for my skulls, but I like skulls. It's pretty much part of who I am. They remind me of death, and that I'm not impervious to death. I like them, so don't give me no fucking shit about it. Behind here is all my wires, as you can see. It's easier to hide them than to clean them up. And I'd rather hide them than look at them all folded and nice. Added a new hard drive. I like these little drives. I have some full-size hard drives. I have an SSD as a system drive, and I have another one of those little 2.5 drives. I like them because when you fill them up, the read and write speeds do not seem to be bothered by it. The platter is smaller, so they just work a little faster, a little better. I don't know how long they'll last. The other one I got is almost a year old. It's still going strong. These are backup plus slim from Seagate. This one's a 2 terabyte one. I just took it out of the case. Here's the case. Took it out of the case and put it in the computer. Not all of these Seagate's USB drives will do that. Some of them have the regular connector like this for power and SATA data cable. Some of them, even when you take them out of the case, you still have to use the USB cord. So if you're going to do something like that, be sure you check model numbers before you buy and expect to do that. I like this case. It's easy to work on. It's the best case I've owned. There sits my Air 540. I got a 280 rad and the 120 rad in the back down here on there for the CPU loop, and I'm running the 360 rad on my GPUs. And it's loaded with fans. All these fans are exhaust. This fan on my 120 is exhaust. All the fans that I've put here on the side and on the side panel are all intake. Usually there's a filter, but due to the heat of the summer, I take the filters off so I get more air in. And what I was showing earlier is that fan and that fan that's up on top is blowing air directly on the back of the motherboard to help keep. There's some other little VRMs or chokes or something back there with a metal plate that get pretty hot. Plus it keeps the socket a little cooler in the back. Pretty handy. My radiators are Airplex Radical 2s. Badass radiators. I'm glad I got them. They range about $89 a piece for the 360. The 280 might have been about 10 bucks cheaper. The 120 was only like 50 bucks. Might have been, I can't remember. I get everything off performance-pcs.com. It's an awesome site to get what you need to do anything with. These are two R9 390s running at 1100 megahertz on GPU and 1600 on video RAM. The water blocks are EK blocks, but they are for the R9 290X. But they fit on my XFX 390s. If you have the small C inductor, which is in front of the card, right around in here, you'll have to look that up online if you're interested in water cooling your 390s. And it might have blocks for them now, I don't know. If you're having trouble understanding me, I don't care. Mute it. Don't watch it. Some people have requested I make a video of my PC and post it, so here it is. I plan to build a Zen build in this case with the same water cooling parts I have, except this will change. I'll get two 480 rads for the top. I'll put this 360 in the front. I'll change my reses out. All that'll change. I'll put my 280 down here. I'll still use the rads I got, plus add two 480s. So hopefully I can make things even cooler. My PSU is a Photon, 1200 watt PSU. Motherboard is Asus Crosshair 5 Formula Z. CPU is FX 8350 at 5 gigahertz. I also overclock my motherboard from stock 2200 Northbridge to, you can see it right there, stock HT is up. It's all up. There's no sense in overclocking your CPU and not letting everything else follow. So I will move this up here. And I will load up Valley benchmark so you can get a look at the temperatures I run. Yeah, how you like that temperature? I'll let this run a few minutes and get up to temp. This is, like it says, my core utilization. It shows me which cores are working how hard. I had each individual core temp in this area, but it got to looking too busy, so I just put the average up. My temperatures in games are pretty awesome for the settings I choose to run. And I don't know how well you can hear these fans. Some of them do ramp up with CPU temp. My intake fans do that just to get more air in, under, and around the motherboard. This is the GPU pump. It's just a short loop, short as I could make it. This is the CPU reservoir. So I've been working on it and testing things. So both my pumps hook up right now to that Ultra X4. Plus I didn't take the time to connect that new hard drive correctly until I find a place to put it. I just got it like like yesterday, so not in a hurry to do anything with it. Even though I get shit for this AMD build, I'm pretty proud of it. It's come a long way. This same computer has been through 3 different cases, 3 different all-in-one water cooling solutions. One of them was leaked, and then I decided to go custom with my all-in-ones. I hooked all the RADS together and was instantly hooked, and this is the result of that. Don't start water cooling, it's addicting. You just want more. After a few minutes, here's my temperatures. It's pretty much ran through the whole thing. If you want to see some gaming benchmarks, or even this whole benchmark,